Welcome to our continuing series on transmuting your body into a powerhouse. We've talked about a myriad of things over the last several episodes, and today we want to talk about processed foods. In fact, more specifically, cutting out processed foods in your diet. You see, there's a controlling narrative that is big, and I know you've heard about it, around, quote, climate control. And it's attempting to dramatically change our diets, stating that many things that are healthy to eat are actually, quote, negatively impacting the environment. It's kind of fascinating, isn't it, Bersaba, that the things that are healthy to eat are negatively impacting the environment.
Yeah, it's absurd.
It's absurd. It's fascinating because they make recommendations of things to substitute with, but the recommendations that they make, are they healthy recommendations?
I never thought eating bugs is healthy.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes.
Or eating things that taste like meat.
Yeah, fake meat that presents itself like meat.
Yeah.
But they're all incredibly unhealthy, and they're nearly all processed. And this presents many, many problems. Processed foods often contain unhealthy fats. They contain sugars or artificial sweeteners, chemicals, and additives. Now, it just makes sense that if you're ingesting large amount of sugars, additives, coloring, chemicals that weren't meant to be in your body, that they're very hard, sometimes impossible to digest. In fact, according to a Lancet study, excess weight was responsible for more than, what would you guess? How many deaths, if you had to guess? Excess
Per
weight.
What? Day, year,
per year.
month.
Per year.
Because of obesity?
Yes, excess weight.
I wouldn't, I don't know.
Pick a number. You're going to fall short, I bet you. But
500.
1,300 excess deaths per day.
Per day?
Per day.
Wow.
Nearly 500,000 deaths, according to Lancet, per year.
Holy smokes.
Is attributed to excess weight and a loss of life expectancy. What do you think that would do to your lifespan to have excess weight?
Well, 500,000 are dying. I imagine it shortens it by a lot.
It shortens it. Would you venture a guess as to how many years?
A couple of years, 10 years. 20.
2 to 4 years in the study in 2016 that they conducted. This contributed, now this is going to blow your mind, in fact, maybe not because we've talked about it before, to higher excess mortality than smoking.
See, smoking, I guess, is the least worst thing you can do. It's turning out to be that way.
It's not as bad as overeating and being overweight. Now, we're not suggesting you should do either. But the current agenda, you've seen this, I'm sure you've seen this current agenda for, quote, plus size. Even Victoria's Secrets and many others have got caught up in that. And even professional models in swimwear and clothing under the guise, this plus size has been propagated under the guise of inclusion.
And acceptance.
Acceptance, diversity.
No, it's just wrong.
It's actually not just wrong, it's a death sentence.
It's not good for you.
What we're encouraging people to do is to die younger.
Yep.
And to make it okay. It's almost as if you could project that there's some heinous objective to downpopulate the planet.
No way.
Now, we're not going to go there today. But according to the CDC, from 2001 to 2021, diabetes prevalence significantly increased among U.S. adults 18 and older. From significantly increased. And this comes along with excess weight. Currently, 38.4 million people in the U.S. have diabetes. 38.4 million. That's 11.6% of the entire U.S. population. 29.7 million people have been diagnosed with diabetes. Now, Bersabel, what does that tell us? If 38.4 million have it and 29.7 people have been diagnosed with it, how do you do the math? If more people have it than those that have been diagnosed with it.
It means that there's a lot of people out there that probably don't even know that.
That's right. You're spot on. There's 8.7 million people who have diabetes who have not even been diagnosed and don't even know they have it. How do you deal with these things? Excess weight, diabetes, a shortened lifespan. Well, consuming whole, unprocessed foods will improve your overall health. It reduces the risk of chronic disease as well as weight problems. And here's a rule you should emblazon on the screen of your mind. If God didn't make it, you probably shouldn't eat it. Mm-hmm. And even some things God did make, you probably shouldn't eat. And we'll talk about that in a minute.
You shouldn't eat everything.
In a minute as well. Man-made factory food is not real food. It's not real food. It wasn't meant for human consumption. God did a really nice job of providing real food for our consumption. In fact, let's jump over and get some guidance from the Bible.
What?
What do you think?
Sure.
Let's go to the book of Leviticus 11. It says, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, if all the animals that live on the land, of all the animals that live on the land, these are the ones you can eat. Do you remember?
Oh, yes, I do. I highlighted that chapter.
Because you read Leviticus. So tell us, what are the ones you can eat?
You can eat cows, gazelle, ox, deer, sheep, antelope, and goat.
That's right. You nailed it. You nailed it. And the way that God described it to Moses and Aaron is anything that has a divided hoof and chews cud. Yep. Well, that's exactly what Bersabel said.
Stay away from creepy, crawly things.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of us, but that's okay.
Just saying.
Because you think you're a Leviticus master. Cows, gazelle, ox, deer, sheep, antelope, goats all have cloven, divided hooves, and they chew cud. So God said you can eat those. Now, the Beyond Meat product is a control and money grab mechanism. And you know who's heading that Beyond Meat up?
Gates?
Yep. Yes, indeed. Vegetarianism is a money grab and control mechanism.
Yes.
Now, I know that might push your buttons if you happen to be one.
Then let it push away.
Yeah, but keep an open mind.
You need to wake up. While
effectively sold under animal rights, it is unhealthy long term.
Yes.
And we're not just talking theory here. No. You know, we bought the narrative, hook, line, and sinker, and Bersabel and I were vegan for 5 years.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, it set our body back. We were deteriorating for sure.
Yes. We lost both energy, we lost muscle, our skin got lax.
And you have to think about the fact that once you stop eating meat, why is it that even the doctors that push vegetarianism, they say, oh, okay, well, now you have to take all these other supplements and all these other vitamins and make sure you get your protein. Well, how much?
And your B12.
Yeah, and get your B12. Well, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, if you can't get it from your diet, there's something missing from your diet.
Right.
We really set ourselves back, according to Bersabel believes, and I agree with her in many ways. Well, not any longer. Not any longer.
No.
Back to grass-fed and finished meat.
Yes.
And we feel better. We're in better physical condition. We have more energy.
Yep.
We regained muscle mass.
And lost the excess fat.
We're leaner.
Yep.
Did I say we have more energy?
He definitely has more energy.
You don't think you do?
Yeah, no, I do for sure. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, especially for my chronology, I have a tremendous amount of energy.
He does.
I know individuals that are a decade younger than me that have way less energy, but that's the point. Not the point. The point is, we eat grass-fed and finished meat, and we feel much better.
Sure.
We still eat a whole lot of healthy organic greens, salad and vegetables almost with every meal. In fact, we even eat, and this may sound weird to you, a lettuce salad with our breakfast.
Yes.
Every single day. And our breakfast is either fresh organic eggs or grass-fed and finished beef.
Sure.
With a salad. We have a salad with our meat, mostly beef, for every single dinner. And this is healthy and important for your overall energy. Now let's go back to Leviticus.
Okay.
And I continue. Of all the creatures living in the water of the seas, God says to Moses and Aaron, and the streams, you may eat any that have fins and scales.
So no shrimp, no lobster.
You nailed it.
No. What are the other ones?
You know, isn't it interesting that those things,
Scallops.
those things you just mentioned have been billed as delicacies.
Yeah.
Right, you go to a nice restaurant, what's the most expensive thing on the menu?
You got lobster or oysters too.
Lobster, yeah, is always the most expensive.
Right.
You know, and it really has it tastes terrible, you know, without the drawn butter.
I tried it. I tried lobster and I thought, oh, I'm gonna have me a lobster, and I had it. I'm like, this is actually not good.
No,
This is not
the only
good at
thing that
all.
makes it taste good is the melted
It's the butter.
and you're
Put more
just
butter
eating
on.
butter, and you're like, oh, this lobster is great. No, the butter is great.
Yeah, the butter is
Especially
good.
if it's real butter
Yeah.
and healthy fats. And let me go back to quoting Leviticus. All creatures in the seas or streams that do not have fins and scales, you have to regard as unclean.
Mm-hmm.
And since you're to regard them as unclean, you must not eat their meat. Now, again, just to reiterate, this is important for those of you who think you're food connoisseurs. This cuts out shrimp. It cuts out lobster. It cuts out clams. It cuts out shellfish.
Yeah.
Now, what many people consider and bill and charge extra money for as a delicacy, isn't that kind of interesting, is here's why they're not a delicacy. All of these fish are bottom dwellers.
They're poop eaters.
They're poop eaters. That's a technical term. They forage through the bottom for their food.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bertman, I have a fish tank. If you ever had a fish tank, what sinks to the bottom of the tank?
They're feces.
Excrement. That's a nice word too. Excrement, waste. So there's no way that shellfish are not consuming
They're consuming it.
lobsters, shrimp, some, if not a lot, of this waste as they forage through all this feces for their food.
Right.
Not a pretty picture.
No.
Think about that next time you try to dip a shrimp in some cocktail sauce. You know, cover up that feces with cocktail sauce. No, it's not a pretty picture to consume. Would you eat a vulture who lives from dead and rotten carcasses? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. Let's go back to Leviticus. There's a lot of wisdom here. So every creature, continue to quote from Leviticus, every creature that moves, here, this is going to be fun. Every creature that moves along the ground is to be regarded as unclean, and it is not to be eaten.
Along the ground, like on the ground, like pressed to the ground,
Like
crawling.
bugs. You're not to eat any creature that moves across the ground, whether it moves on its belly or walks on all fours or on many feet. It's unclean. So this pretty much blows out the latest push to eat bugs.
Yeah, don't eat
That's
bugs.
being shoved down your throat and shoved upon us by some unselected world leaders. Ye shall eat the bugs, as well as celebrities, doesn't it?
Klaus Schwab.
You know, have you seen any of those videos of some celebrities taking a bunch of bugs and go?
No, I haven't. That's
It's really
messed
good.
up.
Yeah, you probably don't want to say it.
No.
You may heard the old meme. You are what you eat.
Don't be a bug.
This could not be true. Don't be a feces eater. Turn your body into an energy powerhouse by ingesting high quality foods. Your body will thank you, as well as your quality of life will thank you, as well as your lifespan. So hopefully this is helpful. Thank you so much for your attention
Thank you
and
for
for tuning
being
in,
here.
and we'll talk with you again next week. God
Bye.
bless.